have a new environment today. It's not the same with previous times that I make, because now it's somewhere that I'm more comfortable. We are really in our own kitchen. So it's somewhere that I used to spend a lot of time. I miss this place. So from now on, all the live shooting, most of it we're going to take in the professional kitchen instead of the Bell with Chef kitchen that we did earlier. Okay. And today, I'm going to demo for you all a lemon cake. It's a very simple recipe. It's a very simple recipe. Then, one moment, okay? Okay. Okay. It's a very simple recipe which I think everyone can do in your house, because previous 2 times of my episode that I did something that which is a little bit more complicated. You have more layers. But this time I choose to do something very simple, because I believe a lot of people still want to bake in their home. So, and this recipe is one of the recipes which I feel is very simple, but if you do it very nicely, it's very tasty. And it's something that I will make it in my home. Okay. Today I'm going to show you how to make a lemon cake. Then in the recipe that it shows, they note that we have a lemon which we put 3. It's 3 pieces. It's not in 3 grams. Okay. So in the lemon cake we have 3 pieces of lemon zest. In the syrup we have 3 pieces of lemon juice. Also in the icing we also have lemon juice. So it's not the gram, but it's by the pieces of the product, the lemon pieces itself. So I'm going to start with the lemon cake first. I'm going to introduce the ingredients. First, flour. I'm using cake flour over here, which is important because if you are using all-purpose or bread flour, the lemon cake after you're done, it's going to be too firm. When you eat right, it's not so light. Then second one, whole eggs, salt, baking powder, butter. Over here I have sugar, and also I put the lemon zest earlier. I zest inside here. Okay, you can zest inside the sugar. You can also zest inside the cream. The last one I have cream. So it's either you zest inside the sugar or zest inside the cream. Up to you. It doesn't affect too much. Then first thing, let me roughly go through with you how I'm going to make it. It's very simple. We're going to make a sabayon, then fold with the flour and the fat. It's very simple. So the first, I'm going to put the eggs. And sugar. Also here, I have the lemon zest already. So it very depends. Me, I like lemon, but if yourself you like to have lime or calamansi, it's up to you. No, not really a problem. Then salt also. Then for this, right, the sound, yeah, there's no sound. I will check it. I think it should be okay just now. I check. Yeah, it's pressed. Yeah. Hello guys, can you hear me? It's okay? So guys, over here, right, I repeat again. I have whole eggs, okay, sugar and lemon zest. And you can change the zest to if you want to have orange or whatever, but I think lemon is nice to give you a good flavor. Then also, I prepare just allow me to get some water. Thank you. I will prepare the other side to make some double boiler, because it's a small tips for everyone. Usually for sabayon, right, if you whip like this, you get a good volume. Okay, enough. Thank you. So over here, right, I heat up some water. I warm up my sabayon. It's very important. It's better to keep it around 35 degrees. If you wait when the egg is cold, right, or in the environment like what I have now, the room temperature is around 24 degrees. So it's not the best for my egg yolk to reach the maximum volume. But with heating up like this, when the temperature goes up a little bit, around 35 degrees, right, is best for the egg yolk to whip up. It reaches a maximum peak, and also you have a bubble which is very stable. To check the temperature, one way is you can use the thermometer, or easier, because today I show this recipe because I hope you can do in your home, right? I don't use too much complicated ingredients. I don't use too much of the complicated tools also. So over here, right, as long as you touch, you can feel your body temperature. If the temperature is similar, you can start to whip. Just can do me a favor, change the plug to the other one because it's not strong. Yep. Okay. So I will check once a while to feel the temperature of the mixture. So now actually it's a bit warm. So I will put it inside the mixer, start to whip up. And here it comes a second tips for you all. When you whip out, right, try to not use the maximum speed. If you are doing like this, if you are using a maximum speed, right, the bubble that you're gonna have inside the mixture is not gonna be very stable because they will have a very big bubble. We don't want to have a very big bubble. We want to have a lot of small bubble that when you fold, they are not going to collapse and they give you better texture in your mouth. Because whatever bubble you have over here, after you bake, you can get from your sponge. If you want your sponge to have a nice texture, it's very important on this part. And while waiting, right, it's very important in Malaysia. I put the baking powder with the flour, then I sieve it together. Because by sieve like this way, your flour becomes more airy because when you go through the strainer, they incorporate some air. So one way is easier to incorporate the flour into the mixture. Also, you don't need to worry about the lumps of the flour because sometimes, right, when you do in your home, you see you get some lumps inside your cake because you didn't sieve it properly. Because our country humidity is high. So if you keep your flour just, let's say example today I sieve already, right? I keep for 2 days, you will see the flour start to stick to each other again because of the humidity. So try to make sure if you have any powders item, sieve every time before you want to use. Okay, and the other side, I'm going to combine my cream and butter together, and I warm it up to body temperature also, around 35 degrees. If you have a thermometer, you can check, or else, right, you can use your hand to touch. If you overheated it, if it's too hot, right, no worries. You just keep it separate, let it cool down. When it's cooled down, right, then you can use it. Make sure when you pour inside the mixture, the temperature needs to be around 35. And for the sabayon, right, don't whip too fast. Usually it takes some time. It's not like you whip in 5 minutes, then you see it raise up a little bit, right, then you stop. Usually I need to whip around 10 to 15 minutes to make sure I get a good bubble. Medium speed. So the other side. The butter and cream, right, you mix well. and you feel. If temperature you feel is almost same like your body temperature, you can stop. Even though you have some lumps of the butter, don't worry. We're gonna use a whisk to mix the butter and the cream together. Just can do me a favor. Put the plug underneath directly underneath to the down. Yes. Can reach, right? Don't too much. Yes. Thank you. You can go down this one into the hole. Yes. So you can see over here, the butter and the cream mix up. As you see earlier, my butter is soft, but they are not fully melted, which is a good thing because you know the temperature is not too hot. Usually, if your butter temperature is too hot, they're fully melted. The temperature that butter will melt usually start from 38 degrees. So now I want 35, like this is very safe. So I will keep aside. So now I need to wait for my sabayon to reach the maximum. It takes a little bit of time. I don't want to rush it. And the other side, while waiting, right, I'm going to prepare the mold. So over here I have pre-prepared 2 molds that I'm going to use. Over here I have 1 more which I haven't prepared. And the mold I'm using this time is especially for the travel cake. Okay. And inside you see is non-stick. It's okay if you use any kind of mold. But if you see if it's normal mold which is not non-stick, I would suggest you to put a parchment paper. You cut a parchment paper, right, and put to all the sides. So after you bake, it's very easy to take out. Or another way, if you have like what I have now, I will show you how to do it. So I prepared a soft butter with a brush. Okay. I will just brush inside the mold. Okay. After you coat everything with a butter, right, then you get a strainer with flour. Over here, same things I'm using back the cake flour. You put it inside and make sure you cover all the sides. So you get the flour covered with the butter, and in the end you clean the side to make it clean. And I will prepare the mold and keep aside. And the flour you can reuse again for your next travel cake. Okay. And one more information that I share with you all. Because now while waiting for this, right, I have a little bit of time. Let me show you this one first. Now, as you see, it's fluffy, but actually, right, for the sabayon, it still can go a little bit more. How to check? Because I know for a live video, it's a little bit difficult to see this. But nowadays, right, we're editing the video. We're gonna post inside the YouTube. From there, right, you can see a closer look how the mixture going. Here now, if you see, the surface still have some bubble. Means if you see the bubble is very small, means the mixture is ready. But the problem is now the bubble is very big. Okay, it's not the best to use yet. I'm gonna whip a little bit more. So I'm gonna put back to the mixer. Again, medium speed. I cannot tell you speed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it depends on the mixer that you have. You just make sure you have a medium speed that don't force Don't force it to raise up too fast. So the bubble structure inside is the best. You see, I repeat many times, bubble structure, because that decides this recipe, what kind of texture you will get from this cake. If you have 3 or 4 people, right, like we teach in the school, sometimes the student, first student to 5 students, they use the same recipe, but the result is very different because this is one of the tricky way to take care. And also, for today, the cake I make, right, is easy because we call it as a travel cake because easy to understand from the name that the cake can be transferred easily and you don't need to worry about the environment. Means today, even though I'm putting this cake in the environment around 30 degrees, it's not going to melt, okay? And it can last minimum 3 days inside that kind of environment. It's like a butter cake recipe, but you don't need to keep inside a chiller and best to consume when you are in the room temperature. If this cake, you keep in the chiller, you eat right away, and if you defrost to the room temperature, when you eat, you will see the texture and the taste is totally different. Okay, so while waiting for this, right, I'm going to start the next recipe first because I think it still takes around 5 minutes. So I'm going to take out the ingredients. I'm going to show you the ingredients for the syrup. So we don't need to waste too much time over here. So for the syrup, it's easy. Okay, so for the syrup, I have water, sugar. Also, I repeat again, in the recipe, we put 3 pieces, not 3 grams of the lemon juice, okay? 3 pieces. Otherwise, you don't get any flavor of lemon. For this, easy. Water, sugar, you bring to boil. Just brings to a small boil, then we'll add in the lemon juice. Just that simple. So just bear in mind, when you put the sugar water, right, you stir once a while. Make sure the sugar don't stick on your pot, otherwise it caramelizes. Okay, boiling, stop the heat. Pour in the lemon juice. Okay, this I will keep aside. Later, right after we bake the cake, I'm gonna brush the syrup on top of the cake to make sure the surface is moist. Okay, over here. Okay, guys, I come back to the lemon cake mixture. So you can have a look. The mixture now, they are still looks the same if you see from the front angle because it's a bit far. But I'm not sure if you can see, but you can. I'm trying to explain. The surface, you will see the bubble become very small. You don't see much bubble on the surface. This is the time that you get your sabayon. I would say, I'm not saying compact, but the bubble structure is very solid. They have a lot of bubble inside, which later you eat the cake is very light. But it's not a big bubble. Big bubble, you feel rough when you eat. Small bubble, you feel smoother. So we want to have a lot of bubble, but usually small bubble to give your cake very good texture. So I remove the whisk. First thing, I'm gonna mix in the fat, butter, and the cream. Make sure it's warmer, 35 degrees. So you fold. For this way, I mix in the cream butter first, or I mix in the flour. I don't see there's a huge difference for this recipe. I tried both way before, but both way works almost the same. Then after that, the flour. But here comes the important part. When you pour the flour, if you have two people, the best, one person pour, one person can mix. But if you are working by your own like me, you pour the flour only on the surface. Make sure you don't pour the flour everything one time. You need to pour by maybe like this amount 3 to 4 times. Then after that you fold. Like this way, the flour will float on the surface, and when you fold right, they mix slowly. It doesn't stick with each other, so it doesn't form lumps. If you pour everything one time, because all the flour will go and gather in the middle, so they contact with the liquid, so they start to form the gluten, so everything will stick. Today I'm a bit more serious like normal because Chef Otto is not here. You will see from last week a little bit different because when he's here I speak a little bit more. So now I fold again. This part is very important. This will decide what kind of the texture we'll get from this cake. And this recipe I've been tried before to use a creamy method. Like I start with egg and sugar, right? I've been trying with sugar and butter. The result is not as good as the egg and butter. This one is more fluffy, but you get the texture which is very smooth. When you eat the cake, it is easier to eat, I feel, and it's light. So you see how I fold? I always from middle, scrape to the side, middle, scrape to the side, until everything mixes well. So when everything mixes well, you will see this sponge is not those kind of sponge which is super fluffy, because for travel cake, right, it's not like a chiffon cake. In the end, it's a travel cake. We want to get a texture almost like a butter cake, okay, but airy, not too compact. I don't like to eat a cake when it's too compact, but also for travel cake, we are not looking for something too light also. It's not like the chiffon sponge that you eat, because it's a bit too airy. When you eat, there's no structure in it. So this recipe, there's more fat if compared to chiffon cake, and it's not going to raise up crazy like chiffon cake, okay? So I clear a little bit. And I'm going to fill up in the piping bag and pipe into the mold that I prepared earlier. So in this recipe, right, it depends what kind of mold, but usually you can make, I would say around 3 pieces, around 350 grams of the mixture, okay, for this recipe. So now in this, right, I usually use around, it depends how airy it is, but in this mold, usually I pipe 300, 320 grams. So I prepare a scale. And I'll put a piping bag. So now I will pipe and scale the amount. But of course, today if you are using other mold, right, just bear in mind that you need to pipe around 70 to 75% of the mold. Because when you put inside the oven, right, they're going to raise up. If you pipe to 80% or more, right, they're going to raise above the mold. So after you've done the cake, right, you see it doesn't look so nice. Pipe 320 grams. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, 350 grams. So you see, I don't pipe too much. You can see from here, it's around 70%. And it's important if you want to sell the recipe, right, that we make usually, it's better to make it consistent. You scale every piece you make. So all the guests, when they get it right, they get the same amount. Second one, and the third one. Okay, it will be just nice for 3. Okay. Then, for this cake, I would suggest, because for doing a truffle cake, right, one part very important for me is I'm not going to bake right away. If you want to get a truffle cake which is very moist, I suggest to chill this mixture minimum 4 hours inside the chiller before you bake. So when we put this mixture inside the oven, they are cold. So for this one, I'm not going to bake because due to the time problem for the shooting, I prepared the cake which is baked already. This one I'll put inside the chiller, chill for minimum 4 hours. Okay, you can leave it overnight, but bear in mind that don't keep more than 2 days in the chiller because we have baking powder inside. The more you put inside the chiller, the longer time it rests. Okay, you cannot get the full impact of it. You cannot get active all the baking powder. The longer you keep, the lesser volume you will get for your cake. Okay, so this I'll keep inside the chiller. Then of course again magic time. The cake is done. Okay, so of course now actually I'm just to show you because actually myself when I bake the cake, right, and you can see the mixture, the amount is almost exactly same which I do earlier and now. Okay, the method is same. The mold also I put butter. Okay, just one thing, this cake, right, you see I mold now. Actually previous I already mold. I take out from a mold, but this is another tips for you all. If after you bake the cake, you keep the cake inside the mold for a long time. So you might have a chance, it depends on the recipe. For this recipe also, you might have a chance that your cake side, the side here you see now is very straight, right? You have a chance that you have a sinking like this. This is because if you keep inside the hot mold, the water content means the steam. When the cake is still hot, right, they have no way to release. Because if you keep a cake inside like this for a long time after you bake, then after it cool down, only you unmold, right, the steam will trap inside, so the cake will become a bit moist and it become like this. So I suggest, while you take out from the oven, while it's still hot, right, you get the towel, you put on the side, you pull it off, pull it straight, like this way. Okay? And you leave in the room temperature. Then now I'm going to show you how to put the syrup. So the syrup that I have earlier, you can prepare a tray with a cling film on it, okay? So now I have a cake which is room temperature. If you have a cold cake, you use a warm syrup. If you just bake and you unmold, you have a hot cake, you can use a room temperature syrup. So it depends. So the syrup I just prepared, brush 2 layers on top of the cake. So you can go like this. Be generous. Make sure that each 1 layer, right, you are not scraping, then only you brush. You make sure you brush right away. So you can see a lot of syrup going in. And this is not sweet, because we don't have too much sugar inside this syrup. It's more like a flavor of lemon. Okay? After that, you leave it rest on the other side. Again, 2 layers. One layer, I wait a little bit. Let the cake absorb the syrup. After that, again, second layers. Okay? So you wait a little bit. Usually, let's example for this recipe, we do 3, right? You can rotate to do this. So the moment you finish the first one, you go to the third one, they already absorb everything. So again, the bottom, we don't need to do, because the bottom usually is the part which have most moist parts, because the condensation and the steam, it doesn't come out, it's stuck over here. So you don't need to brush the syrup on the bottom. Usually it's the side and the top, which will get a little bit more dry. So a second, and also the side. So if you have leftover syrup, you take out from the cling film, you can pour back, you can use again in the future. Okay, for this, after you're done, the cake will turn a little bit softer because you put the syrup. So you wrap it. Okay, I will show you. If you want to keep your cake very moist, right, you keep like this, you wrap. And if, let's say example, if I want to eat by tomorrow, okay, I will leave like this into a room temperature. And the next day is the best time to eat it, not when it's fresh. Because if you keep like this, right, the flavor of the butter, they will slowly goes everywhere, and the flavor of lemon also. But with the recipe I show you today, right, I have another glazing, which is the icing glazing. Because for lemon cake, right, I like to see that there's a glazing on top, and the glazing give you a flavor of lemon also. So now I'm going to show you the third recipe, the glazing. Okay, now I'm going to do the ingredients. I'm going to introduce the ingredients for icing. Here I have a lemon juice, icing sugar, same, you sieve already, sifted it, and the first one, the egg white. So, for this, very easy, just put everything together inside the bowl. So, egg white. lemon juice, also icing sugar. Make sure you sifted the icing sugar first. And we're going to mix. Can you help me to set the oven 120 degrees? It's for drying the icing. So very easy, guys. Just mix well. So you'll get a very sticky icing. We're going to pipe this on top of the cake and dries inside the oven with 120 degrees for around 3 to 5 minutes. So they will set. As you can see, the icing looks now, but when you pipe, it will be fine. I'm going to add a little bit of the syrup inside because I think the egg whites will keep in the room for a long time. It evaporate a little bit too much. So now it's a bit too thick for me to pipe. I will just add a little bit of the syrup. Okay, this is more than enough. You don't need to change the recipe, guys. The recipe that I gave you all in the our Facebook page and also Instagram is correct. Just now, we keep maybe the egg whites and the lemon juice a bit too long in the room, so it gets a little bit too thick. So this I'm gonna put inside the piping bag. So over here, I prepared a tray, and the travel cake that I prepared earlier. Over here, I have prepared a travel cake that already brushed with the syrup. So just pipe the thin layers on top. You want it to look random, a bit like rustic looks. You don't need to be super fine. Because the moments after you keep for a while, right, they will slowly flow down. And this I'm going to put inside the oven 120 degrees. Okay. I will tap a little bit. Also, get a small spatula. See, I like to let it flow, no problem. It's a design. If you want to make it, it's like a homemade effect. That's why I like to keep like this. But when the moment you put inside the oven to dry, right, they're gonna drip a little bit more, and you can tap. Okay. So I'm going to put this inside the oven for 3 to 5 minutes to let it dry. Then I'm gonna start to do the decoration on it. Please, can help me to put this, and also, I see. Help me to get the lemon peel. I already cleaned up. I put inside the room of fabric model. Okay. Yeah. Put inside the oven. 3 minutes. So that I clean a little bit. Sorry? Yes. Here now also can, because I'm waiting. We have 3 to 5 minutes.
Is it necessary to use egg white in the glaze?
Egg white. Okay. If the egg white, right, it provides some stickiness. Okay. If you don't have an egg white, let's say example the glaze, you don't want to use egg white, you can use pure lemon juice. But the problem is they are not gonna grab so nicely on top of the cake. You see they flow up a little bit faster. Okay. But that is possible if you take out the egg whites. But you see, there's a reason why I put inside the oven 120 degrees to bake, because I want to pasteurize it if you are putting the egg whites. Okay? Is there any other question they are asking?
Why do you bite the butter, let's say, example, from the cake?
Oh, it's for one is for the texture. After we dry inside the oven, right, you will see there's a thin crust on top of the cake. When you bite, you have one more texture. And second is, it gives you flavor, because just now if you see the icing, right, we have lemon juice inside. So you can get a good flavor of it. So with the lemon cake that we have, if you don't put the icing, it works, okay? But I just like to have icing. It looks better in the effect. After I bake, right, you will see the icing. They are going to turn a little bit more transparent, not as white, okay?
Using fresh lemon won't turn the glaze bigger sometimes?
No. Okay, it depends on country. Is it from Philippines or India? Malaysia? Fresh, the lemon we get in Malaysia, the juice, if you are using fresh one, usually it's not bitter. But if you are getting the juice in a packaging from the outside, if you say 100% lemon juice, right, usually it's slightly bitter. With this, I don't have problem. And even though you are using a green or yellow lemon, no problem.
Can we replace the extra whipping cream to normal whipping cream? What is the difference?
Extra whipping. Oh, okay. Guys, maybe you see from our recipe that the whipping cream we are using is mentioned out extra whip. It's okay. You can use a normal whipping cream. As long as the fat content for the whipping cream is 35%, it doesn't have much difference. You can use you can use whatever brand that you can get easily. And also, just whipping cream, no problem.
Tanisha is asking, so we wrap the cake once it's
Warm.
fully cooled down?
No. It's important. Just now you see I have a cake, right? I brush with a syrup. As soon as possible, you wrap it right away. Even though if your cake is just out from the oven, when it's still warm, it's better. Because you see how, guys, I explained you roughly the reason why I chill my cake and bake. And also, I wrap it when it's hot. If today you done the cake, you bake it right away. Okay? The cake mixture, the temperature is same everywhere. When the moment the outside you get a color like what I have now, inside is a little bit dry. But if today I bake my cake is cold, when the outside get a nice color, inside still, the heat takes longer time to go in the middle. So they are more moist. And also, when it's moist, if you leave it outside, they're gonna dry up slowly. That's why it's, as soon as possible, you put a syrup, you wrap it right away when it's still warm. You can keep the moisture a lot inside your cake. So when you eat the cake, right, it's not gonna be dry, very moist. The batter in the freezer, yes, again, the same things. Before you bake, you need to put inside the chiller, okay, to defrost it minimum 3 or 4 hours. Otherwise, your baking time will be very different with what I have, okay. And also, make sure you bake only 1 day after you done it. The batter, right, you keep inside the chiller only 1 day. Okay, just pass me the. It's okay, I use the towel. Okay, guys, you see, You see, it's normal. The icing will drip a little bit like this. So I want it to look rustic, so I keep like this way. You can make it very thin, no problem. But myself, you can see, the icing gonna dry up, so you don't need to worry about this. And now I'm gonna start to do a decoration, and I will show you how to do finishing. Yes. But I think the one is either is my friend. Is from who? From India. Oh really? I'm sorry, I'm here to show you the design, but not passing my contact number, whatever. Any question, you can leave the question inside our Facebook page, also YouTube channel. Then we're going to answer you. We have a crew of members helps me also to answer all the questions.
This is, I'm from India, and the level of orange juice turns bigger after some time. Shall I give it a boil?
No, if you boil too much, right, they're gonna turn the flavor gonna change a lot more. So what you can do like this, one way is you can replace, because every country, right, the fruits that you have will be different. So if you know that the flavor of the fruits that you have in your country is too strong or they will be too bitter, you can replace half with the orange juice. So you can get a similar, I'm not saying same flavor, but it will be a little bit more easier to accept for everyone. So guys, you see, I'm gonna cut down my icing.
What do you suggest for people who always ask for endless recipes? What is the best way you can actually?
This is a very good question. Okay, because actually before we start the shooting, right, we are discussing, am I gonna explain to you about this? Okay, so now you ask, so I have to. Okay.
Everybody asks about endless, so how do they have to understand this part?
Yeah, so I'm gonna explain you guys. Okay, nowadays we are taking care of health or because vegan or whatever. So we have started to have a lot of chefs doing eggless and also vegan products. Okay, first thing, I know the market of you or whatever might be need you to do like this, but I'm a pastry chef. Today, if I do a cake without eggs or vegan, I'm very limited to the texture that I can make. Because if you notice, whatever eggless recipe, gluten-free recipe, the texture cannot be various. So if I get a cake texture, like just I mentioned you, spongy or whatever, if I can do it with other things, okay? Like just I explained about the icing. If we take out the egg whites, what will happen? I say it can be replaced. But the only problem is that the icing not going to grab on your cake so nicely. You see, the icing grab, I put inside the oven, it drip down, but it grab nicely like this. But if you take out all the egg whites, they're going to drip more. You're going to get super thin kind of icing, which limited down the appearance that you're going to have. Because I want it to look like Mama Look family baked kind of products. So if your icing is too thin, you cannot see the effect like this. Then for the cake, like this way, if you take out the eggs or whatever, right, what will happen to it is the texture that you're going to have is very limited. You cannot have super spongy or a bit more compact. You cannot choose to be different. The area that you can have, right, the space you can have is very limited. Okay? So it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. But after that, in the end, I'm a pastry chef. I like to eat different texture from one product to another. But it becomes that today I make brownies, I make a lemon cake, I make maybe what kind of cake, butter cake. The texture gonna be almost similar for all the products because you are not using maybe eggs, you are not using a product which dairy product because you are vegan or whatever. You don't have those things to whip it up, and even you whip it up, they are not going to give you a good texture. I'm not saying not a good texture, but not the same texture that I'm trying to present to you. So, of course, in the future, we're going to do some vegan because a lot of people are asking. We're going to do some vegan recipe, but we're going to do slowly because now, to be very frank, Malaysia market, okay, we are okay for everything. So, what we show now is I want to show to everyone that the texture that I like to eat, but not to show the texture that what I can do, because here I can do everything. But of course, in the future, we're trying to do vegan, also gluten-free recipe. Okay, but today this is the things that I can explain to you. It's quite limited if you are using the vegan or eggless whatever. So any other question?
No.
Okay, so I think it takes a little bit long time.
When we freeze the mixture, we bake it.
Yeah.
Do we straight away bake it, or we have to thaw the mixture?
Not freeze, guys. Chill. I'm chilled in the chiller. The temperature is around 4 degrees. Okay. You bake right away out from the chiller. You don't need to wait until defrost. I mean, thaw it. Then after that, you only bake it. You don't need to do like that. So now I'm cutting the extra icing that I have. But today I put a little bit too much icing. I should put a little bit lesser. Okay. It's fine in the flavor, but I think usually I like to cover more on the top and it drip half. So the side here drip half, but the side here drip a little bit too much, but it's okay. So here, I have a lemon peel. It's for the decoration. Also, it gives some flavor also. Thank you. So I cut to cube. And I'm going to put this in the middle. So if you see the things I make, right, always when you see from outside, you know what I'm making. So you have lemon peel over here. You know that now I'm doing the lemon cake. And slowly, right, after you keep this for a while, the lemon peel is going to stick on the icing because the humidity of the lemon peel is going to stick nicely. Because now you just put right, they're going to fall down easily. Are they asking any more question about the technical wise? No? Good. Okay. So in the previous few video, which taken from my friends and colleagues, okay, there are some comments about that the voice and the volume, also the angle of the video is not that easy to see to understand the recipe. That's the reason if you notice nowadays we are trying after the live shooting, we are trying to put the video in YouTube. But before we put in the YouTube, right, usually we take some time because it will take around 1 day because we need to clean it and editing. Because Now, we are not shooting this only in Malaysia. We are also blast in Philippines also, India also, is different countries. Okay, and doing live, we have no choice because there's only one angle it can come. After we do, during this whole MCO, okay, so many weeks after, we realized that a lot of people wanted, we're trying to improve ourselves also, a lot of people wanted to see the exact texture that we have over here inside the mixer or what we're cooking over here. But with a live, it's a little bit difficult, but don't worry, because we are doing the YouTube channel nowadays, we try to clean also the volume and the voice that I'm speaking now. We're gonna put inside the YouTube, and you can see better video over there. So now we are doing every day is like this. After this live video, we are not gonna share right away outside. Okay, we're gonna take this video and upload to our YouTube with a cleaner and after edit. So if you wish to see any part that you are not really see properly over here, you can put inside. You can go to our YouTube channel. Of course, it's better you subscribe it because that's the way encourage us to do more video also. And put the bell. Is it push the button of the bell? So encourage ourselves to do more video about this also, and we are trying to upgrade ourselves to do it better and better because we have so many chefs are doing this. Okay, we are trying very hard to share to you whatever we can do, because now I know that social distance we cannot share everything just face to face. That's why we come out with the idea that with live shooting doing the stuff like this. Okay, then now I'm gonna show the presentation. I speak a little bit too much, so I hope you all can understand. Yeah, of course. So I make two. I will slice one for you all to see, and to make it look more fresh, I will put some green lemon, or you can use lime. It will look good. One of it. Or another way, I prepare some icing. Just a little bit. Okay, after the lime. So this cake, you can keep in the room for 3 days to consume, no problem. You don't need to keep inside a chiller. But if you want to keep longer time, you can keep inside a chiller. But always remember, the best to consume it is a day after you make, and you can leave in the room for overnight. Then after you eat it, it will be the best. But right now, if I just make it, I eat it right away, it's not the best texture you can get. Okay, always remember this part. So now I transfer. So you see, it's a very home-baked effect. It's not like, it's not crazy kind of the design. So the recipe I give you is a bit more difficult, but this one is much easier. And also, I'm going to slice and show you. $15 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to slice it. Okay. Okay. So you can see the texture. Okay. So thank you very much for watching our live video. So I hope you continue support us, and also subscribe us in YouTube channel and can have a look whatever we are doing now. Thank you very much.